Lads, they didn't. Laddies, I can't believe it. Everybody, I'm shaking. The villager changes are back. Good morning, my friends, and welcome to Minecraft 1.20.2, pre-release number 1. One of the biggest pre-releases, no joke, literally, of all time. We've got non-technical changes, and then, oh my gosh, we got a ton of new stuff with villagers. They updated so much. Do me a favor and take that like button down to Dallas in 1963, whatever that means, and let's jump right into things, the recipe book. Inside of this snapshot, the recipe book has been updated. So check this out right here. One of these things is different, but you'll never be able to guess which one. We have a torch, we have a soul torch, and we've got a redstone torch. Over here, we have an activator rail with the letters TOR. This snapshot makes a recipe book change that was made way earlier on inside of the Bedrock previews. I was actually, no joke, just wondering about this. If I search TOR inside of this snapshot, only things beginning with TOR are going to pop up, and not like something with that same sequence of letters in the word, like activator. Additionally, let's say I'm playing inside of my snapshot world here, and I've never picked up a cherry log, but I searched a cherry inside of this thing. Well, even though I have never unlocked any cherry recipes, all of the cherry recipes will now show up when you search them. In the grand scheme of things, it doesn't really change too much if you never use the recipe book. Like, you're just a professional, pretty cool guy, but if you do, it's a little different. Now, for this snapshot that is actually a pre-release, surprisingly, so many of these changes are actually experimental changes. But just know that as soon as 1.20.2 releases, you'll be able to check this stuff out in-game, but it won't be officially inside of your world quite yet. You're gonna have to enable it. When creating a brand new world inside of this snapshot, if we slide into experiments, we will find technically no new experiments. However, the villager trade rebalance toggle, this is literally the villager update, 2. I am actually genuinely shocked. I mean, I mentioned, I feel like in the last snapshot video from last week, that hopefully they get like one more snapshot out with the changes, but as soon as all of the devs, like King B-Dogs, literally everyone started tweeting frog memes, I thought the villager stuff was done, and this would just be a small pre-release. Locate structure village plains. Go ahead and roll it, and then poof, I'm over here at the village. Now, in previous snapshots, if I wanted to check out the villager updates, I would have needed to play select turn down and do a little bit of trading. You see, excuse me, sir. Alrighty then, we would have needed to place a lectern down and check out the trades. You see, all of the enchantments are biome linked now. As far as I'm aware, the biome linked stuff, that still exists inside of the game. I don't think they've made mending accessible from any villager other than the swamp villager still. Instead, my friends, they've listened to us all. It's not just the librarian villager that is getting updated anymore. Instead, the cartographer villager is going to be updated too. If these changes end up passing and making it into the... Excuse me, they're not listening today. Anyways, if these changes get approved and make it into the game, check this out. We look at the cartographer villager, and step number 1, I think it's all going to be the same. Instead, what we need to do is level you up a little bit. We go ahead and trade with the cartographer. Give it a second, it's going to go ahead and roll into its next level. When it does that, we check it out. Look at these brand new maps. We've got a Savannah village map, and we've got a Taiga village map. 8 emeralds and a compass. Oh my gosh, this is fascinating, lads. I think I low-key kind of like this. I'm pretty much reacting to it for the first time here today with you. I like to do that with the big changes nowadays, but okay, so we bought both maps, Savannah Village, Taiga Village. What I think is going to happen here is based off of this Plains Village over here, we're going to also be sent to the closest Taiga Village, which is, it looks pretty far, and the closest Savannah Village as well. So long story short here, you know how you need specific biomes for specific trades? Well now, no matter what, as long as you can find one biome village, you're able to find every other biome village. Look at this chart. The legend himself, Nembon. Over the past couple of days, Nembon has been tweeting this very interesting chart, kind of teasing it a little bit. I did a little bit of investigative work here and actually found out that this thing, if you flip it on its side, it looks like a pair of pants. I was pretty convinced that we were getting new pants inside of this next snapshot. I mean, logically, look, it all made too much sense. That is until this image was tweeted out right here. That's it. From this chart right here, we can see at a desert village, we're able to find a map to the Savannah village, able to find a map to a jungle, and able to find a map to the Plains village. Meanwhile, flip it. From the Plains village, we can get a Savannah map or we can get a Taiga map. That's just about it. If we're starting at the Plains and want to find, say, the swamp biome, we need to go Plains to Taiga, Taiga to the cold biome, all the way over to the swamp. Or I guess Taiga to swamp too. That would work. Alright, so there's one way to test this out really quick. With this map in hand, from this village, we can go ahead and locate structure Taiga village. If when I send this command, I'm popped over to the map, then sure enough, we're always sent to the closest Taiga village. Haha, so now that we're over at the Taiga village with, I guess, the mother of the year, triplets. We'll say hopefully that villager does not become YouTube family vlogger. But anyways, over at the Taiga village, if we pull the same trick here, we get a cartographer villager in and level it up a couple times. Well, after just a tiny bit of leveling, we give the villager a second and level 2 is here. At level 2, the same thing, we get maps, except this time it's a snowy one and a plains one. So next up, let's go ahead and test my little theory here. We take the snowy map, we grab that thing, then it's off to the nearest snowy village, which is, oh, that's so close. We do a little bit of time warping, by hand traveling, just trust me, bro, and all of a sudden we're over at the snowy village. At the snowy village, we pull the same trick. Cartography table down, and we trade with you. Now this step is where things are going to get a little bit interesting, because as you probably know, swamp villages do not exist inside of the game. However, the Swamp Explorer map, that absolutely exists. Now we have a map to the closest swamp biome. And actually check that out. From this biome right here, the closest swamp is really, really close. 128 blocks, actually. Let's go ahead and... Is this leading to me to right here, or is it somewhere else? Oh, you know what? No. Instead of leading me right to the swamp that is right next door, I think it's leading me to this swamp right over here. Still, like, I mean, technically not the closest swamp, but definitely a swamp right nearby. Then we could use this swamp map to just basically know that, hey, a swamp is somewhere over here. I could take a villager from that village and basically move it over to the swamp. Do it again, and then poof, I got a mending villager. Now look, this is really, really interesting. I'm definitely going to need a little bit more time to dive into this and test this out, but long story short, check this out. These are all of the new cartographer traits. From every single biome, you are now able to find all of the other biomes, or at least like village biomes and villager biomes. I'm not gonna lie, I can't lie legally. I don't know why there still seem to be sleeping on a meadow village. It makes me a little bit, my heart, it's collapsing as we speak, but yeah, cartographer. I can't lie, I do think that this might actually kind of fix it a little bit. I mean, it's still really annoying to move villagers around, don't get me wrong. And of course, not every day you will get so lucky and have a swamp literally right next door to the village, but would this be the answer? And also, alongside all of these new maps and everything like that, all of these icons are going to be brand new icons as well. I like them. I think they're clean. I like the swamp map. I like the icon for the jungle. I kind of can't wait for this to be, like, non-experimental, so I can, like, play with it in the guide and stuff like that. Before we talk about more villagers, another change inside of this snapshot that is not experimental are technical changes. The data pack version has gone up again, and we got some client options right here. While talking about that data pack version stuff, here you go. Here's all that beautiful, juicy technical information you've ever wanted. Next, villager, the armorer. The armorer villager who works at the grindstone, the pirate, in other words. Oh, no. Anyways, guys, that was weird. That never happened. Of course, I have memorized every single villager profession 5 years later, 100%. The armorer who works out of this station right here, the blast furnace. Directly related to villager trading, but not necessarily related to all this enchantment stuff. We got a brand new villager experiment moving into the game. The armorer villager, the one that will sell you enchanted diamond armor. Well, it's more expensive now. Kind of, basically. So check this out. We go ahead and give it a little bit of time. The villager gets the particle effects. We check it out, and we've got armor. Gonna have to keep grinding. Eventually, once we level this villager up like crazy to basically the master level here, diamond armor. Check that out. Now, if I want to buy diamond armor, I don't need to just pay for it with emeralds, but I'm gonna need to buy it with diamonds as well. 2 diamonds for a pair of boots? I mean, kind of a deal. Protection 1? Not worth it. And has this trait always been here? So this one is a huge one, and while technically still kind of involving enchantments, it's not really related to the librarian enchantments. Look at this chart. This is such a big chart. There's so much to it. Zooming in a little bit so we can get this in a little bit more crisp detail here, we can see that each biome is going to sell different enchanted pieces of armor. So for example, inside of the desert, the armor will always sell thorns. Like we just found out, the plains villager, basically the default for the other biomes, is always going to sell protection armor right there. Only protection 1, not very good. To make this all even more interesting, let's say we had a swamp armorer villager, and then let's say I wanted to do the same thing and level this villager all the way up. Immediately, at the second trade, I'm going to see a very interesting offer right here. I don't think this was a thing before. You definitely couldn't buy chainmail, at least I'm pretty sure. After that, we go ahead and do a little bit of a time-lapse, a speed time-lapse if you will. We carry on with our trading grind until eventually we're presented with a diamond bell icon. Just like always, that means it's all the way leveled now. And check that out. There is no longer going to be any diamond armor from this village. At all. Ever. As part of the chart right here that you might have noticed, is some villagers are going to sell chainmail armor and only chainmail armor. Other villagers from different biomes are going to sell diamond armor with the same enchantments or whatever. A long story short, the swamp villager is now always going to sell chainmail armor, and once you start to level this guy up a little bit, it's very likely that you're going to end up seeing mending on chainmail from this villager. If you're trying to collect one of the rarest armor sets in the game, a swamp armor, that's where it's all at, and it already has mending ready to go. Thinking about this all a little bit more in the context of the other changes and kind of like lore or whatever, the enchantments that each biome is going to offer, and then maybe even the armor types, I mean, it all kind of like makes the villagers have a whole lot more depth to them. The specific armors, specific enchantments, and it all like links together and makes sense everywhere. But mending, unless you're looking for chainmail armor with mending on it, maybe this isn't like the most best change. We do have another change, specifically about mending now. As you may have heard before, all over your Minecraft world, you've got different structures. And maybe if you're a little bit in tune with the structure's loot tables, well, if that's you, then you may know that at many structures in the game, including the ancient city for sure, you can find a whole lot of enchanted books. Inside of this snapshot, the enchanted books that you'll be able to find in many structures has kind of been rebalanced. Now, as far as I'm aware, they haven't really removed any enchanted books that you could find before. Whoa, hey, enchanted apple. Anyways, as far as I'm aware, they haven't really removed any enchanted books that you'll be able to find from specific structures, but instead, they've increased the odds of certain enchanted books. Apparently not too much, though. Long story short, with this change here, theoretically, if you're looking for a mending book, one of the best spots to go and look is going to be the ancient city. Just maybe not for me. Like, of course, it's all odd-based, and there's a whole lot of loot in some of the structures, so maybe it won't happen. In fact, it doesn't look like it's happening here. Whoa, it's not happening here at all, but yeah. Theoretically, if you're a little bit luckier than me, maybe, you should be able to find more mending inside of the ancient city pretty easily. Let's move on to the mine shaft, another one of Minecraft's structures. I actually was just making a guide episode on the mine shaft. It'll be dropping really, really soon, but they actually kind of adjusted the enchanted books you'll find here, too. Let's see if I can get a little bit lucky with this one, but efficiency. You should be able to find efficiency a little easier over here. Diamond. Where things start to get really cool, in my opinion, is over at the pillager outpost. And think about the thing that the pillagers have, crossbows. Lore-wise, it would make perfect sense, so you'd be able to find maybe quick charge easier at this thing. Wow, my enchanted luck today is not enchanted. And finally, last but not least, today we have two temples. The desert temple, the jungle temple. Both technically temples, both technically very, very old, and both technically, theoretically, easier to find unbreaking from. Knowing a little bit about the chests and how they generate here, I think probably we'll have better luck. Oh yeah, there we go. There's my enchanted luck. I told you it works. It definitely, absolutely works. Unbreaking one, but unbreaking is unbreaking. I'm not cursed. A little bit of feedback on this one before I've tested it too much, but I like this a lot. You see, like, thinking about the future here, like, say, 10 years from now, there's probably going to be even more enchantments. I definitely think the different types of enchantments should have better odds in specific structures. Like, I definitely think it's a cool idea to, like, know that unbreaking is more common inside of the desert temple, so you, like, search one out and hopefully find a book. But mending being easier to find inside of the ancient city, I mean, I guess I get it. It's a super late game enchantment, but, whew, that's going to be tricky. Now, the structure loot stuff that we were just talking about, all of the armor enchantments that we were talking about a while ago, and the cartographer villager stuff, that's all, again, underneath that villager toggle. If you don't enable that toggle, when 1.20.2 hits, then everything's gonna be the same as it always was. You'll still be able to get mending from any biome villager in the world. Those cool cartography maps, yeah, those things, they won't exist. And all those, like, armor trades, everything like that, those won't exist either. Now, the final thing I'd like to test out today, that icon looks a whole lot like a jungle temple. If I go over to the nearest jungle, which, oh, isn't that one? Okay, so back over in the desert, approximately where I was just a second ago. Let's try something else. Locate structure, jungle, pyramid. Is this gonna lead me to the nearest pyramid? Aha! It does! It leads me to the nearest pyramid. Haha! That's so cool! Anyways, no diamond armor from everyone. Cool, brand new maps that lead you to new places. And everything else. What do you think? You let me know all your takes, thoughts, and opinions down below. And remember, now that it's pre-release time, pre-releases can drop on any day of the week, not just Wednesdays. Actually, it's Tuesday, believe it or not. Anyways, lads, that's all I got for you. Thank you so much for watching. Delete that like button and subscribe for more. It's been me, Waddles, and until next time, I'll be exploring with maps forever. Goodbye, everyone.